This next question is on the economy, and we will start with Senator Cervantes. What specifically would you do to attract and move new business and companies into New Mexico?
Well, I would change the question if I can, Bernadette, if you allow me, because we spend a lot of our time and energy in Santa Fe trying to do exactly that, bring in the Facebooks and the Googles and the Teslas into our state. We have $50 million, and I know there's a suggestion we need to spend more money of our state in attracting economic development. The fact is we set aside $50 million a year for LEDA money, and we can't spend it. It doesn't get spent. We have millions and millions of dollars that are intended to attract those big businesses to New Mexico, and we can't even spend that money. The other reality is that we oftentimes pass tax incentives, and I voted against the governor's corporate taxes because, frankly, how did we pay for those corporate taxes to big companies? We did it by taxing all the rest of you with increased gross receipts taxes. And so your county and city governments had to raise your gross receipts taxes to pay for those corporate tax cuts. Look, when we approach economic development that way, we're always a race to the bottom. Other states are going to be trying to outcompete us. The governor wanted to cut corporate taxes to bring businesses here. Guess what the corporate tax rate is in Texas, near where I live? 0. How are we going to begin to compete by lowering corporate tax rates to 0? Our economic engine to our state, the success story is really in our small businesses. And we haven't put the same energy and dedication to people that are committed here, that are living here, that want to stay in New Mexico. Look, as farmers, we're not going to move to the state that gives us the best tax incentive or the New Deal. And there are a lot of businesses in our state that are like ours, that are tourism here in Santa Fe, that are the movie industry, that are other economies that are successful because they're in New Mexico and they're not going someplace else. If we try to constantly attract the big corporate companies to our state with tax incentives, we're going to be constantly chasing them to other countries and to other states, and also be constantly trying to reduce our tax structures to accommodate them. It's not the solution, and so the tax incentives that we're passing and the things that we're talking about, the big corporations, is not the key to building New Mexico's economy.
Thank you. Mr. Apodaca, same question, please.
Well, it's good to know that my opponents are now talking about small business, since they have been talking about it for about a year, and we have. Bottom line is we have a lot of number one issues in our state. But the number one issue in our state is there's no private capital that's invested into our economy. It's that simple. 84 cents on every dollar comes in our state or state and federal contracts. 95% of our economy is driven by small business. And we spend millions of dollars a year trying to attract the Facebooks and the Googles, and I'm not against that. But until we start investing into ourselves and into our own, folks, we're not going to grow the economy. And the reason Google and the reason Facebooks and the reason technology companies move to Arizona, Colorado, is because they invest into themselves. So yes, we have a jobs plan, and you're going to hear that I'm talking about $23 billion, and we can't just take that money out. Look, it's 50 years political experience right here that doesn't understand how these funds work. We invest those funds, and we invest those funds outside our state. We literally invest them in Austin, in Oklahoma, and Wall Street. Not against that. Then we take $1 billion of those funds and we literally put it in our education. Not against that. But all we're saying is we're going to take $1 billion, 5% of your money, and invest it back into New Mexico. And when we do that and you invest it into our strengths, into our opportunities, we will generate 225,000 new jobs for the state of New Mexico. And yes, some of my opponents will say bobblehead economics. The Santa Fe New Mexican reporter sitting right here said it's actually happened twice in the 90s and 2000. My opponents say it's not credible. I think it's time we start looking at a governor who's going to tell you what we can do. And what we can do is invest into ourselves. What we can do is invest into an infrastructure for biotechnology industries where they stop leaving our state and stay right here. And when you look at our business plan at apo18.com, take a look at it. You tell me that we can invest into ourselves and grow our own. Once we do that, the big companies will come and knock it. Thank you.
Congressman Michelle Lujan-Grisham, please.
Thank you. So we've been working diligently on, so far, a two-part plan. I do think New Mexico needs to treat our path to prosperity and economic development and success as an all-hands-on-deck approach. So we've got Jumpstart and then Build New Mexico's economy. In the Jumpstart efforts, you want to do things immediately that really make a difference, both in New Mexicans' pocketbooks immediately and give all of us a sense that we're investing in our own economy. I agree that the state, under this administration, is absolutely taking your money. So when we talk about how well Colorado, Nevada, and Arizona, Texas are doing, is because they have your money. We're going to bring that money and invest it in our businesses and in New Mexico's economy. Every economist will tell you that the best return on those investments is investing in your own businesses. In addition, we're going to make sure that we immediately give New Mexicans a raise by lifting the minimum raise to 10 and then going to 12, making sure that we are not creating an environment where people just absolutely can't make it. Give folks a chance to move out of poverty in a productive way. The most meaningful investment this state can and will and should make is renewable energy. New Mexico should lead the country as a clean energy state. You start that immediately. You make sure that you set your renewable standards. You make sure that you're selling wind. You know, the 3 major grids for the country come into Clovis. There's no reason that New Mexico's not leading in clean energy for the entire country. And then to build a sustainable economy, make sure that you've got 4 centers of excellence. Make sure that you've got a renewable energy center of excellence at one university, do cybersecurity another, do value-added ag, do bioscience, so that we know exactly which technologies we're investing in. And I've done exactly that. As a congresswoman, we brought funds and support down to downtown Albuquerque for housing and a grocery store, and Albuquerque's downtown is beginning to take off.